Hey everyone, this is meteorologist Brad. That is for SkiSoutheast.com. We're looking at a little bit of a warm-up going into the weekend, but as promised, we had 48 hours of snowmaking in the middle of the week, which made for great conditions going into the weekend. So even with the warm-up, things are looking pretty good for the upcoming weekend. You can see our storm system to our west. It is bringing us southwest flow, so that typically means a warmer flow. Now, not quite the blowtorch we had last year, but certainly some milder air heading our way as we go into the start of the weekend. But it should be dry Saturday. So Saturday, great skiing because of the great conditions we already have in place. But Sunday, maybe not so much. We're going to have some rain. You can see the showers moving in across the southeast, especially the North Carolina resorts. Could be really soggy on Sunday, but I think everybody will get in on some of that colder air as we go into Sunday. Now, as far as cold temperatures, certainly tonight into tomorrow, we're going to have some cold air around, but that's about it. Once we get beyond tomorrow morning, you can kind of see things warm up. In fact, there's a little bit of an inversion setting up tonight. The lower elevations are colder than the higher elevations, so it's going to be warmer at the summit than it is at the base of many mountains tonight. And really for the weekend, not a lot of cold air. Even on Saturday morning, it looks kind of wishy-washy right through Sunday, though as that next cold front approaches, maybe we'll start to see some cold air come in on the backside of that. So a quick look at your extended forecast. Wish I had better news Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but here's the thing. The resorts are in great conditions. We've had such good snow and pockets of cold air that we've built up the bases. That's why when it is cold, it's really important that the resorts make snow. But check out Tuesday into Wednesday. That's a time period I'm keeping an eye on that we're possibly going to see a front move through. It's certainly going to get colder, and there's going to be some northwest flow snow on the backside of the front on Tuesday. Could start as soon as Monday night, but certainly Tuesday into Wednesday, colder pattern, and yes, even some snow heading our way. So a pretty decent pattern shaping up. And next week is the end of January. Guess what's heading our way? February. And boy, February is starting to look pretty interesting. Through Super Bowl weekend, which is the first weekend in February, it looks like a cold snap the middle of next week. But what really has caught my eye is what's going on up in the Arctic. The polar vortex is really starting to weaken here in the long range, and you can see the cold air spilling into the U.S. Now, what the polar vortex is, it never really moves into the lower 48. That's just like, that's the hype and myth of it. What it is, it kind of hangs out over the poles, but when it weakens, it basically is like breaking down a barrier for the cold air. When it weakens, it allows the cold air to ooze and move south. So certainly somewhere central eastern U.S., pretty good bet we're going to see a cold Arctic outbreak develop at some point that second week. And depending on where it sets up, it might put us in the storm track. So I think we've got at least two significant storm threats coming up in February. Now, it's impossible to time these things out. And anywhere that shows you it's going to snow 7 to 10 days from now, it's complete garbage. The pattern is what you look at. As we get closer, you get to the details of what could actually happen. So let me show you the cold air. The cold air is always easier to kind of pinpoint because you kind of know there's going to be a trough or a ridge. The question is the position of it and how sharp and the storm track. Those are things we'll figure out later. But unlike the early January outbreak, this cold air is much wider across the polar regions and Canada, mainly because the time of year. Remember, there's snow cover all over the place up there, so as this cold air is coming down, it's got snowpack everywhere to travel over. So this is the real deal. It's going to get cold at some point in February, and I think it's the second week. The real question is snow. We don't know that yet, but the pattern, the way it's shaping up, certainly would favor at least a threat for snow a couple times in February. And as anyone knows, February in the southeast, the snowiest time of the year for the southeast, so good news. Now, have a great weekend. If you're heading to the slopes, should be great out there, especially on Saturday. And as always, make sure you're always thinking snow.